what prompted you to write this way back when, and then even to make current changes now? What was it?
It's a couple things. I think the biggest thing was faith. It was faith in it was faith in Americans.
Wow.
It was absolute faith in their open-hearted goodness. That I was like, they don't understand Iraq. They don't know what's going on. If they did, they wouldn't this, that, or the other, or they would do this other thing. Because if I didn't have absolute faith in that, why write a play? Why try to go around to whatever? Why go off Broadway and to London and to Williamston and to, why go to anywhere in America or anywhere and do it if you don't have faith in who you're talking to? Like, isn't that the point?
Yeah.
So I think, like, if I pulled it all back, it's like, of course I didn't want the war to happen. Of course I wished my family could stay alive or stay in Iraq. Of course I wished for all these other things. But why write the play is because you really believe that if you tell the story, I knew them.
Yeah.
I was one of them. Their heart's going to go, and they're going, we have to stop it. We have to work better. We have to do this thing.
Yeah.
Right? And now here we are, almost 20 years after that war, in our own predicament. Wondering with each other, do we have the heart it takes to get through this moment? So it's just really interesting to reflect for my, just personal. Why did I rewrite it? I rewrote some of it because I felt like what we lived through during the pandemic in this country was finally, because we're such a young country, right? Was finally one of those restructuring moments for how we process loss and each other. And I was like, great, now they're going to really understand these thousands of years old people better.
Yeah.
So what if I put them side by side? What if I put a little bit of 2020 side by side, thousands of years of what people have been living?
So Heather is not just someone that I'm in awe of, she's my dear friend too. She's like my family. And when she was...
Sister.
Yes. My blonde sister. When she was writing The American, I was blessed enough to be at her home in New York at that time, and she's sitting with me at her kitchen table, and she's talking about it and writing it as I'm sitting there. I mean, what an incredible blessing, right, that was. But I felt not only is it so great to try something new with The American, but it's just so wonderful because it is like memorializing, her dad, and it draws people who maybe couldn't connect to some of the characters, even though I think that there's something in all of them, to this American person in the here and now.
Because I got to see Sarab last night, and it was breathtaking. I mean, Sarab is breathtaking. The production is breathtaking. And to see the new material side by side with material that's been in the play for that long was, I thought, for me, it was thrilling because I feel like I'm processing the moment, right? And we never process our present moment without our history. So I didn't want to come see this play as if it was a history lesson to this war of 20 years ago, even though it's always present in my life as an Iraqi American. Like I wanted to see how it was pushing up against my present moment and why it's connected.
I'm full of a lot of emotion right now, but this is like, I want to say, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed. You've really opened my heart.
I have faith in America.
We took a small risk. Heather took a giant risk because in order to open minds, you have to have at least one person who's ready to kick open a door. That is what Heather Raffo did. So all those other theaters that came after her, they came after her because someone else went ahead. Someone else took the fear and hit the wall and opened the door. And those theaters followed her. So we'll give them credit, but they weren't the first one to break open the door. It was her.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to go back and say the only reason why I mention how hard it was theatrically. It's not as a negative. But when somebody says, "Oh, the play's been everywhere," it has a look like it was successful, so that it was easy. Like that happened, and it's still a miracle it happened. That's why I just say it. It's like it was down to a few people that said yes when there were so many no's. And that's been my career too. It's pretty much like one person goes, "I really want this thing," as opposed to like lots of options, right? You know, and it's exciting. It's exciting when you get the brave.
And he was brave too. You
That's
were
my
brave
point.
too.
Brave storytellers that come together, and then you've got something.
So he saw you do it in New York, and he knew you were from Michigan, and that's why he felt he could, right? Ed, I don't want to speak for you, that you could go back and say, "Hey, you know what, I'm from Michigan, can we bring this over here?" And so, I mean, you were just as brave, huh?
Well, Williamston Theater is brave.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Very cool.
Well, speaking as a Vietnam vet, the United States has a lot of veterans, and we've seen a lot of stuff. But what we don't see or experience is war here, and what you have described is what happens to the families and the relationships and the things that they have to go to. We see it on TV. We hear, maybe a story or two here from a vet, but we don't think about whose lives are so impacted and how it impacts them. Thank you for bringing that out.
So I want to thank all of you so much for being here. I want to thank Ed and Sarab for making it through their tundra. And most of all, I want to thank Heather Raffo for being here. Not just being here, because it's just a gift for us to have the playwright here and someone like her in our space here in Williamston, but also for this amazing performance today. Total spur of the moment, hey, come entertain an audience.
She's a pro, that's what she does.
They were amazing. Thank you for everything.
Yay.